Hey, welcome to the Dino and Joe Show. My name is Dino, and that over there is Joe.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am beyond excited. I mean,
Beyond excited.
look where we are.
I know.
It may seem, if you're seeing us on YouTube, this may look strange because
Yeah.
neither of us, we look like the same people, but
Right.
the surroundings are certainly
Because
very different for both
we
of
are
us.
the same people,
We are the
just
same people
in completely different locations at this
in
point.
entirely different locations.
Yeah.
And those listening on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, a picture what you always saw,
Yeah.
but just picture something different now since you never really saw anything anyway.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
picture a different background.
it's a new season, and
It
it's
is.
you think about those shows that you used to watch, right? And
Yeah.
like the first season would look like it does, and then the second season they'd refresh the set. Well, that's what we've done. We've totally refreshed the set
Completely.
because the surroundings are different. So
They are.
to explain to everybody, you're still in Chicago,
I am still in Chicago.
but you have switched studio locations.
I have. So my previous studio location was very comfortably tucked at the back end of my dining room table.
Right.
So it was a very snug setup.
Yeah.
But now I have moved, as you can maybe see or maybe not, into a very comfortable office where I
Right.
now work and play and do all of my foolishness out of. So it's a lot of fun.
And it gets you out of the Mrs. Hair.
It does. God love her. I forced her to go into the bedroom and I said, just
Right.
stay in here until I come in. Now she can free reign around the house
Right.
all she'd like without any disruptions.
And I took a little bit of a bigger step because
You
I took a
did.
little bit of a bigger
You
move.
always have to
So
outdo me.
yeah, the whole thing. I took the entire promotion of my job and moved to another city just to one up you in the
That's
ultimate way.
yes, I believe that.
That's how devious I really am. But no, I took a promotion at work, which meant I had to change locations. So this part of the show is no longer in Ohio. We are now in a suburb of Seattle.
Yep.
And so a huge move. And so with that, huge new location and new house. And so completely different setup than before. So if you're used to all the jerseys behind me, those are still in my possession, just not hanging up here. So yeah, it's completely different. So, just change your mental shift and think of something new and
Right.
refresh your mind of what we
Yes.
sound like, look like, and now where we sit. So
Correct.
completely
Correct.
new.
So
So
if you were wondering why we were absent for a full I don't know, 4 months or so,
yeah, yeah.
now you know why. There were a lot of big changes.
Well, because you took a new job too.
I did
So
take a new
like
job.
this has been a huge process of like life change, right? And
Yes.
then I had to pack everything up and and then get unpacked, right? And that takes time. And then kids in school and had to figure that out. And my wife had to get a new job and had to figure that out. And honestly, until I could unpack and get situated, yeah, it took a little time to get set up for us to be able to continue doing what we love to do, which is just really entertaining ourselves and hope that other people are entertained by
Just fingers crossed.
it.
And I will still maintain we have a
Yes.
fan base in Sweden,
Yes.
Japan, the
Yes.
United Kingdom,
Uh-huh.
and several states of the United States. So to all of you, we
It's
say
only
thank you. And in several states. There are still
we have
some we
more
have not broken into
we have
yet.
more countries that are fans than states.
That
So
is
that should tell you something right there of how real quality this show really has become.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? We're happy for all of them. And if they can just listen along and laugh, then more power to them. And we always have your parents to entertain. So
Absolutely.
mine are like, what is this thing? I don't get it. And I don't think they listen.
Well, I mean,
Did I ever tell you about the time I was on the radio and I had moved and I was like, I was living, 2.5 or 3 hours away. And I was talking to my mom and she's like, yeah, dad bought a new radio and hooked a new antenna on it so that we could try and listen to you because we thought with the newer radio, the old radio we had just couldn't pick you up. And I'm like, Mom, I'm over 2 hours away. You're
you're
never
never going to
like,
be
that
able to
doesn't
do
work that way.
that. It's not like a TV where you get a little bit of a stronger antenna.
So
Maybe you'll pick over a little bit.
right. So
No.
they literally bought a brand new radio to try and listen to me. And I
But
was like,
they
hey,
always say it's in the thought of it, right? Like
oh
that's the
yeah.
sweet thought.
I had very supportive parents. They let me
That's
do a
amazing.
lot of weird stuff that I wanted to do, and they were just like, "Okay,
Okay, if that's what you want.
go experience it." So yeah, very funny. But yeah, whole new life changes, and so whole new season of the show,
Yes.
and now we're
It's
back to talking about things that entertain us.
I think, Dare, I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Okay,
This is gonna be our edgiest season yet. We've only had
edgy.
one.
We're going for edgy now.
We're going for
That's
edgy.
our
We're gonna
thing.
talk about some crazy things,
Oh,
right?
are
Like
we? Oh,
that
oof.
that move of yours, that was probably woof. A lot of things going on there. That's a big journey. That is
Not,
not
yeah.
small.
Yeah, it is a big drive, right? And so, and my father's health hasn't been the greatest, so we
Mm.
did spend some time in Iowa with my parents just to be able to see them, and obviously, really, we were still 11 hours away living in Ohio, but
Yeah.
because my parents all live in Iowa, so um, we had the opportunity to spend some time, and that was the closest we're going to be to them for a while. So, yeah, so it was great to do that. But yes, there were some very fun parts about the travel. My One of my favorite parts was when we got out on this rest stop in Eastern Washington, and it's like desert, which you didn't really expect, not knowing. Like I've never been to the state of Washington driving that way, right?
Yeah.
It's my wife kept going, where's the trees? Where's this green you keep talking about? Does it all look like this, right? And then we get out this rest stop, and the first sign she sees says, "Caution, look for rattlesnakes."
Okay. I
She
would not
was
have
like,
expected that.
she was like, "Is that real?" I'm like, "Well,
Is
I
that
don't think they put the sign up as a joke." So yeah.
that'd be a very us thing to put up as a joke,
Right,
but
right. I would put it up as a joke.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it was quite the move. It was we did it in stages too with the
Mhm.
kids, and so we got to see some fun things. We got to see the world's largest garden gnome.
Oh,
Yeah, that is it's at Iowa State University actually,
that's
which I didn't
cool.
know.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, we got to see. Well, when we were in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We got to be part of the world's largest outdoor rodeo.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we were
I
there.
I have driven by. So we were going to Yellowstone. This is, I mean, 10, 15 years ago. We were
Right?
driving by and we went to Cody, Wyoming,
Yeah,
which is apparently the world capital of rodeo,
yeah,
as they
absolutely.
have dubbed themselves, which was super cool. So I know that's a fun experience.
Yeah, I bought a pair of boots.
Oh,
I bought a pair of Wrangler jeans. I did. I bought a Wrangler T-shirt.
that's
I was
amazing.
feeling the spirit,
You
so
had
yeah,
to. How could you
yeah.
not?
Ask me how many times I've worn the boots.
How many times have you worn your boots?
None,
You
but I have them.
you're waiting for the
Oh,
right occasion. That's all there is to it.
the funny thing is, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to wear these. And I still say that. I just don't know where I'm going to wear them, but I'll find that time, and then I'm going to
I
wear
them
them, and they're
somewhere.
going to be awesome.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it was fun. And then we went to Salt Lake City. We spent overnight there, and we got to go to Boise, Idaho, which I had
Oh,
never actually been to before.
yeah.
So that was kind of cool. We did stop at Boise State and go see the blue
The
football
blue
turf.
foot. Yep.
Oh yeah. By the way, very cool people there and a very cool experience because you can actually go into their Hall of Fame
Mhm.
and go right out onto a patio that overlooks the football field. Like they let you there. I was like, really?
Okay.
For nothing.
Why
And
not?
then they were doing they were doing all the incoming freshman tour.
Mhm.
And so we just kind of like saddled up on the backside of the tour with my two boys. And people are like looking at us
You
like,
got a
what?
glom on. Like,
Right. And we just kind of walked out with them. And then we found out
just
that like that was allowed. So I had no idea.
well, tell them it was just a Doogie Howser situation.
Right. I mean, my
That's
kid's
all it is.
brilliant and they're
Yeah,
going to
of
school
course.
here. They're
How
freshmen.
insulting to assume he wouldn't be. Come on. Um, so my one question is,
Yeah.
and I've read about this at Boise State. They have the
Uh-huh.
blue turf, right?
Yes.
I heard
It's
that there
blue
were
too, boy. It is blue.
I heard that there were issues with birds thinking it was a lake, and unfortunately,
Never heard that.
really, I heard that they
No.
had to do something like at certain times of day or something, like they had to cover it in a certain way so birds would not dive
Wow.
assuming it was a lake because, well, I you
It's
can
not.
imagine. And that's sad. It made me so sad. I'm like, oh my god, I never thought about that because most
No.
obviously are green, but the blue might be deceptive to it.
That is not something they share with you on the college initiation
Well,
tour.
I suppose that's fair. Maybe that's not something they want out there in the public. Sorry, Boise State. Um, whoops.
Oh,
We
but it
still
was
think you're a
funny.
great school. Just
Right, right.
ooh.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I mean, nicest people. They wanted to talk to us and ask us about where we were from and like find out why we were there. They couldn't believe that like we went there just to go see the blue turf. Because I guess
I
to
would.
them it's normal, like it's
I
their
would.
thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's pretty awesome to see. And but no, they don't share the bird story. That's when they leave off the initiation tour of incoming freshmen. So
It's not an all right. Well, that's good
yeah,
to know. Um, so kind of in the same thing. Like you've taken a huge trip across the country.
yeah,
Okay. I recently took a trip just to Central Illinois. It was not a big deal. It was just something we wanted to get some corn. There was a farm down in Central Illinois that sold some fun corn for crafts. It was
oh,
for
crafting
crafts.
corn.
Yes. So my father-in-law,
They
they
don't really grow that in Iowa,
well,
but
yeah, right.
crafting.
Well, I think technically they don't grow it in Illinois, but this farmer was very smart and realized people from the suburbs who were yuppies and want to make arts and crafts
Right.
figured out a way to make this work to his benefit. So good for him.
Is corn a big part of arts and crafts?
Apparently, for my
I don't know.
father-in-law's garden club, it is.
Okay. All right.
So, but it actually is pretty cool. So essentially, what they did was they took this corn, and I maybe you can help me because you lived on a farm or near a farm. It was all different colors. I mean,
Yeah.
some of it was just dark wine red, some of it was
Mm-hmm.
blue and
Yep.
yellow, some of it was all is so beautiful, so many different colors. Even the stalks were different colors.
Yeah.
Anyways, what happened was they would drill holes through all three of them, take some wire, put it through it, and kind of make it like I don't know, an entryway thing that you can put on your front door for the fall.
Right.
It
Right.
was actually kind of cool and nice. We
Yeah.
have one at our front door. So we went down there to drive to that, and pick that up. And on the way, it's a 3-hour drive. It's not a lot. It's Central Illinois. There's nothing really going on.
Right.
But we did happen to see two of the coolest things in the world.
Okay.
Number one is Paul Bunyan, the largest Paul Bunyan in the world.
Okay.
So that's fun. So he's actually holding a hot dog. Hold on. I have a photo.
Wait. He's holding a Paul Bunyan's holding a hot dog.
He's holding a hot dog.
N-
Where is he? Here he is.
So that's what happened to Babe the Blue Ox.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. That is Paul. That is for a brief minute. I did see
That
Paul
is
Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan.
That is Paul Bunyan holding a hot dog.
That is him. We saw that.
They removed the axe and they put a
Yes.
hot dog in his hands. Was
So-
that the new politically correct Paul Bunyan?
Apparently,
He's not
I don't
allowed to
know.
carry the axe anymore.
Then number two.
Okay.
So it turns out that there's multiple Paul Bunyans. Now they're not all called Paul Bunyan,
Right.
but this one is pretty much the same model of Paul Bunyan, but they've changed it up, and it's called the Gemini Giant.
Oh
so-
my goodness.
It was named after the Gemini space missions. That's why he's holding a little rocket called the launching pad, which is the restaurant right next door. So we've made
That
it
looks that looks like something from like a 1950s like sci-fi horror film, They've landed
of.
and they're coming for us.
That's kind of the idea of it. So I happened upon the first Paul Bunyan, and then I happened upon the Gemini Giant.
Right.
And the third one we're actually going to go find next Saturday. It's in Springfield, Illinois.
Yes.
It is Paul Bunyan, but he just has two empty hands. And they change it. Sometimes it's a flag, sometimes it's a tire, sometimes it's Christmas lights, sometimes it's a pumpkin, depending on the time of year. So we're going to
you're so getting the pumpkin Paul Bunyan. I'm telling you right
hoping so.
now. Yeah,
So we're
pumpkin
looking
Paul.
forward to that. Now, I tell you all of that to ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay. You took a long road trip.
Yes.
Playlists for a road trip.
Okay.
Do you make them? Do you plan them? Do you like them?
I don't plan playlists.
Okay.
Do I like them? I mean, I'm not a playlist kind of guy, so like I like to listen to what I like to listen to,
Sure.
and I kind of curate as I go because now you have that option, right? I mean, obviously it's a different world. It used to be just tune in whatever radio station you could get, whatever they play, you listen to. But yes, it's very much different now. But no, I'm not really a playlist. Now my wife is a playlist person, but she finds the pre-made playlists.
Okay.
And she stumbled across the Disney playlist, which is over 3 hours. And I think she listened to all 3 hours of it, to be honest.
Okay.
Because we were in two separate cars, and I had the boys with me because we had packed stuff in her car because her car has the hatchback
Yeah.
And so she was able to put stuff in the car, and we would call back and forth, and I interrupted the Disney playlist sing along,
What's wrong with
and
you?
she was like, "It's 3 hours," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure she listened to all 3 hours of it." But no, we kind of listened to what, like, the boys would be like, we want to listen to AJR, and so we'd listen to AJR, and then it was like, we want to listen to this, and then we'd listen to that, and then so that's kind of the way that we
Okay.
did that. But no, so you're a playlist person.
I love a playlist. I love a well-crafted playlist. Now, I have a very specific method to my madness.
Okay.
Okay. I like to start off strong, something upbeat, peppy, something that really gets you going to like when you're
Right.
on a road trip.
Right.
Then I try to incorporate in what we're going to see or do. All right. So,
Into your playlist.
correct. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Now, Tiff is we're going next weekend to Springfield.
Right.
Tiff is going to hear this playlist. Hopefully, this episode doesn't come out and she listens to it beforehand so I don't spoil it. But I have things like,
Yes, I'd hate to ruin the playlist surprise.
yeah, it's a big surprise. I made a big deal out of this. I put people like Buffalo Springfield on there because we're going to Springfield. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Paul Bunyan had a theme. I didn't know that. I put the Paul Bunyan theme on.
So that was the first question that came to my mind was, is there a Paul Bunyan
Of
theme
course.
that's part of the playlist? Holy
It's
cow.
very interesting. For instance, we're going to go see some Abe Lincoln like historical sites.
Yeah.
So I put on there "Hail to the Chief" from the United States Marine Band.
So
It's just randomly in there.
You're gonna be driving
Yeah.
to the
Hail to the
anthem
Chief.
of the president.
That's correct. Yes. So that type of thing, right? What else is there? Highway to Hell, of course, AC/DC, because
Oh, well, of course.
we're on a highway. Route 66, because we're taking Route 66 part of the way.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. But now, with all that being said, there's no repeats. So you have one artist and that's it.
Did you
One
put
artist,
Did you put the Cars "Life Is a Highway" on there?
of course.
Not
I
that
hate
not
that
that
song.
the band the Cars didn't sing it, but the
No, I
Cars
understand.
movie
Yes.
it.
Yes.
It was like, well, people are gonna be like, why does he think the Cars sang that? No, I know the Cars didn't. But did you do the band the Cars, and did you do Drive?
Yes, all of the above.
Oh, look at you. Very
Now,
thorough.
well, so for instance, I put Drive in a different mentality for a few different things, right?
Yeah.
I put Incubus Drive.
That was my next
But also,
question.
see, so
Yep.
like
Very
you got to think
good.
about things. And if you have any thoughts, please throw them at me because I think it was 275 hours, or I'm sorry, 275 songs,
Yeah.
13 and a half hours of music because it takes 3 hours to get there, 3 hours to get back. Plus, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff driving around, so that's 6 hours.
Are you driving there twice?
Well, if we're driving around for a little bit, having fun, I want to make sure we're covered. I hate
Oh my
having a
goodness.
playlist that runs out. That's my least favorite thing in the world.
Oh geez.
I hate that. So
Because
we
you
have
might have to
no
make another
repeats.
musical choice, and then you don't know what to do. You're stuck.
Right. And then it's just like you might as well put on the random radio. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I like the radio, but I have things in my mind.
Yes, you do. We will dive into those more next. It's the Dino and Joe Show. Welcome back to the Dino and Joe Show. My name is Dino, and that man over there, his name is Joe. Hello. So you have been very active, I understand, over the last, I don't know, few weeks maybe. You pick up political mantles a little bit more than I do.
Yes.
And you've been out working. Is it for a candidate? What is it
Yes.
for?
So a good friend of mine, I will leave his name out of this, so there's no, whatever, is running
Yeah.
for a position in his city.
Okay.
And he is just, obviously trying to get onto a ballot, right?
Okay.
So he's literally just trying to get access to the ballot. That's just how it works. In order to get on there, you have to have a certain amount of signatures.
Okay.
And I, being the wonderful friend that I am, and truly also believing he would actually be good in this specific position, am going around collecting signatures to get him on said ballot.
Okay. Now,
that's the whole point.
Are you targeting certain neighborhoods?
Yes. So it's a specific area of the city.
Okay.
That he is trying to be essentially it's like a city council person.
Okay.
And there are several different districts in that area, and you just basically go there and go door to door, knock, knock, knock. Hello, I'm friends with this person. They're trying to do this. I
Yeah.
would love to, have your signature so you have an option of who you vote for in this election. So,
Interesting. So now, do you target like apartment buildings because there's more bang for the buck because there's more people there, or is it a?
there's a
Uh,
list. There's
oh,
literally a list of registered voters, and you
okay.
just I basically start on one end of the street, go all the way down, come back, go all the way up, and then start to the next street. So that's literally what it is. So whatever is on that street, that is where I will go.
And so, like, how much time are you spending? Are you doing this every day, every
So
week?
I've done it for 2 weekends on
Okay.
Saturdays from
All right.
12 until about 5. So about 5 hours.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, what I will tell you is if you ever want to learn how to accept no, that is something you should do because, and I understand that because I'm a person who, if somebody just knocked on my door and started talking to me, it can be off putting, it can be
Sure.
whatever, right? But as long as you do it in the right way, right? You're friendly, you're approachable, you just talk to people, right? Like
Yeah.
I have been in a sales role for pretty much my entire life. I think I'm kind of a personable guy. I have a moderately successful podcast,
Right.
right?
Right.
I can talk to people. I can talk to the masses out there. But it's just being nice to people and letting them know, hey, here's this candidate. Here's what they're about. Would you want the again? I always try to remind people, you're not voting for them. You're not doing anything like that. You're just saying, hey, um, do you want an option of who
Yeah.
you can vote for? Because currently the person is running uncontested. Like it's
Right.
them. They're gonna win.
Right. Right. So there is, I mean, there's a business model for that actually. In fact, there's a financial company, Edward Keeping Up with the Joneses, that they do canvas. Actually,
Oh,
they walk neighborhoods and try to strike up a conversation to then turn around and strike up how they're local and friendly and they're in your neighborhood and they're here about you um, and they do very well with that. Like their whole theme is that they are a local person who's got your best interest at heart, right? So it's interesting to hear that you've taken up that mantle.
yeah,
um, the Mormon Church, that's how you know they get their message out, right? They go door to door. If you want to hear people that get told no,
yeah, right. Well,
the, who they get told no,
it was it was very much. I don't want to say demoralizing, but it was just very challenging to want to keep going after the first day I did it, which was
yeah,
maybe 2 Saturdays ago. I was told no probably for the first 2 hours. I didn't get a single signature. Nobody.
right, right.
But a lot of the other thing was nobody was home. Like it's a
Oh, sure.
Saturday. A lot of people just weren't home that Saturday. I think it was actually Labor Day weekend, which may have been one of the reasons why. But when I did get that first yes, it felt great.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good. It felt nice. I was like, I wasn't a complete failure. I was pseudo successful with this.
How
Um,
many how many signatures do you have to get?
so it's some number in the 400s, top 400s, but the suggestion is you get at least double, if not triple,
Okay.
that amount of signatures
Okay.
in case there are any irregularities or
Sure.
they say this one doesn't count for this reason, whatever. So you want to
So,
have like 15 to 2000, 1500 to 2000.
and are there other people doing this, or is it just on Joe?
No, it's only so it's a whole bunch of our friends,
Yeah.
go out on occasion and do this. Obviously the candidate and his family go out and do that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, it's just it's fun because, it's kind of like that civic engagement piece. And
Sure.
yeah. And the nice thing is this is a nonpartisan race, this particular one. Like it's not like a liberal or
Right.
conservative, Democrat, Republican, none of that stuff. It's all based on, you know, everybody wants the same thing: better education in schools, safer streets, all that kind of stuff. Like no
Sure.
matter what party you belong to, everybody wants the same core values. It's just how you get there is a little bit different sometimes. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, and that's kind of the whole idea, right? Like just making the city a better place.
So the other thing too, I always think about now is like modern technology has changed how we even answer the door,
Okay.
right? Because obviously, like think about it with Ring or with any of the other products that are out there, Arlo, whatever, right?
Absolutely.
People can see who are at their door,
Yep.
and people don't answer the door as much anymore because they don't have to, right? or they just talk through the doorbell and go, "No, leave me alone."
I have two stories I'd like to tell.
Okay.
Number one, so I forgot about that. Actually, three stories. So the first one was I completely forgot that those things existed, right? Because I don't have one. I live in an apartment building. You just knock on my door and I'm next. So
Okay.
I'm like, oh crap. Okay, it's one of these. And I ring the doorbell and I'm with a friend and I'm like, hey, just let me do the talking. And he's like, you know, that's a ring doorbell and they can hear you, right? And I'm like, well, now I do. So this is really awkward, huh? What do you think that
Yeah.
is with them opening the door? You know, it's like
Not
this
gonna
awkward
happen.
back and forth.
Right.
And and you're right. Some people I think see that and they just won't answer the door, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like if they don't want to be bothered. I completely respect that. Story number two. Uh, I was going for comfort and neutrality when I dressed up for this, right?
Okay.
So I wore a black polo, a
Okay.
black hat, and my black sunglasses with some shorts and shoes, and just that's it.
Okay.
I looked at myself in the mirror when I got home and recognized I looked very much like somebody who might be trying to burgle.
I was
Like
gonna
like a
say you were all
100%
black to
all
go
black.
door to door.
And not only
Yeah.
that, it was like 87 degrees, so that was just a dumb personal choice.
Oh
But
wow.
I kind of recognized maybe I need to add a little bit of color into this
Yeah.
so I don't look
Yeah.
so menacing. Because I'm also not a small man. I am tall in stature and width. It's just not a great look. So maybe that also
Yeah,
contributed
that
to it
might have
slightly.
been. Yeah, that might have been.
And then the final story is the number of people who don't have any doorbell
Yeah.
whatsoever
Yeah.
is also surprising to me. Where they didn't have a Ring electronic doorbell, they didn't have a normal just ding dong built into
Yeah.
the house doorbell. It was removed. So I was like, I'm not going to bother these people because they clearly don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Otherwise, they would have some sort of method of letting people know there's somebody at their door. So yeah, those were three fun instances that I learned very quickly whilst um, trying to get signatures.
Well, and the other thing too is it's a post-COVID world.
It is.
And I think that people are reluctant to, engage socially in ways that they used to before, right?
True.
Like, the packages get left in front of your house. No matter how many packages get stolen in the world,
Yeah,
and we all see them, and there's always videos of them, and there's always
happens
these news
all the
stories about
time.
them. They they still allow their packages to be sit on the front porch, right? Like answering the door is a different commodity than it was, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's interesting to hear how canvassing works today because, again, it's not that I'm not political in the things that I believe in, but I don't know anybody running, and there's nobody I've gotten behind
Right.
in that way. And, you know, but it's I applaud the effort. I applaud
Absolutely.
the taking it on, right? But at the
Absolutely.
other part is, wow, what a different world to actually go door to door in, and the days of, door to door salesmen are kind of gone. Now it's,
Hmm.
your packages and then some stranger that you don't know.
Right. Well,
And
that's the
and
other
are you going
thing.
to open the door?
You could tell when some folks weren't home because there would be a ton of mail in the mailbox,
Yeah.
three or four newspapers, and
Yeah.
four or five packages.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, a few things run through my mind. Number one, this person is clearly not home.
Right.
So I'm gonna try the doorbell just because, like I said, I believe in this person and what they're trying to run for. So
Sure.
I'm gonna give every effort possible. I am 99.99999% positive there's nobody home, but I'm still gonna try. But then also at the same time, it's like, what if I was a terrible person and just stole everything?
Oh, I know. I
Because
know.
if you're away for that long, like I don't know, it's just it's scary. And the number of people who had like little cameras mounted in
Yep.
different areas just to watch down, it's crazy. But similar to your point about COVID, post-COVID world, we of course all had masks with us in case somebody,
Sure.
obviously was wearing one to the
Yeah.
door. We
Yeah.
would put one on
Absolutely.
to match comfort levels, and um, it's a nice thing to be able to do this type of thing again, right? Like
Yeah.
just go out and interact with people because it's definitely been a minute.
So how would it work in an election if you can't go door to door because of something like COVID?
That's a
How
great
do you
question.
get on a ballot? How does that work in our political system because you have to have the signatures?
I don't know. Maybe I don't actually know. That's a very good question. I might have to pose that to said person and see if there is response to that, because for instance, so what happened is you get a sheet of paper, right?
Yeah.
It gives all of the person who's running's information stating, this person is
Yep.
running for this office who lives at this address in this area,
Right.
and by signing here you are saying you agree um, to have them put on the ballot.
Yes.
And at the bottom is where I have to fill it out, and you actually have to have a notary notarize it to say it's
Yes.
official, because I
Right.
am acting as the person saying I visually saw the person who signed sign it, and it is the registered voter who is at this house.
Right.
So that part's very serious. Like that part can get very difficult, because you want to make sure everything's done correctly so you don't lose the signature
Yeah.
unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I wonder how that would work. Huh.
I don't know. And I really truly don't know the answer. Like
I don't either.
it's a question that just hit me as, we have a political system that requires engagement.
Right.
You have to go vote. You can get a absentee ballot, right?
Right.
But to get into a position to be able to be on a ballot as a candidate,
I will.
there has to be social engagement. You can't do it from afar.
Right.
And there's, the political tried and true of being amongst the people, man of the people, means that you have to be out with the people. Like that's just part of the gig. And when thinking about, like, in a world where, we just went through, how does that work in a political system that requires engagement, or engagement is needed to be able to get to the level that you want to get to? So it's interesting to me, like it's still got to be tough just because of the way the world has changed to be able to just go door to door. And be, and again, like you don't see it as much as you used to. Now, what you see is, like, what's ridiculous is you see the videos of people stealing stuff off people's porches. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I saw, I have an app for our ring, and it has a neighborhood thing, and people post, right? And I'm watching people steal shoes, like a pair of shoes that are laying out there off of somebody's doorstep. I'm like, I mean, I guess you needed those shoes really bad, but they're shoes. They could be stinky shoes.
Right. You don't even
Right?
know.
They could have something. I mean, there's a guy online, my kids showed me, that creates these bombs that shoot glitter and fart
I saw
spray,
that.
and
Yes.
and I'm
I
like,
love
that's where we've
those.
gotten to. By the way, they're very funny.
They're
Those are hysterical,
hilarious.
and they have like a police radar that goes on, or a police scanner that goes off, and a siren, all this stuff. And it's all just an answer to say, hey, people are stealing stuff, so now I'm going to booby trap, like, and pay them back. Like that's a whole different world. But yes, I would say it's got to be tough to go door to door, especially for something you believe in. And then, it's not just even being told no. It's like, will they even answer the door because I'm standing here? Yeah, it's got to be even tougher.
Somebody gave a suggestion also, put the clipboard like to your side or behind your back, because when people see a clipboard, they're like,
Nope, I'm not taking your survey.
and
Leave me alone.
there were so many people who were so kind and nice, answer the door, listen to my spiel instead. No. And
Yeah.
and again, that's
Yeah, of course.
completely fine. I respect that.
Yep.
Totally cool. I never was upset at anybody. They were like, no, thank you. And I was like, great, have a good day. And then I
Yeah.
just marked them off as a no, and I moved on. Some people got a little more upset than that, and that's fine. I was like, okay, no worries, have a good day.
Yeah.
That's cool. Not a big deal. Sorry I
Right.
interrupted you.
Right.
It's okay.
You're the guy now that people try and dodge in the mall when they try to give them the samples of cologne. Or take the mall survey, whatever
Yep.
survey that might be. Yeah, I love those people. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, hey, you never know. A celebrity from this show could be at your doorstep asking you to get involved in a political candidate's choice.
Yeah. So you have the choice of who you vote for.
Right. Be on the lookout for Joe coming to your neighborhood to ask you to sign a petition. It's the Dino and Joe Show.